Utangi, shit, woman, your butt, your whole butt, Utangi, shit, my woman, your butt, your whole butt. Yeah, uyisazibai, chaipa chat, uyisazibai, 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 yeah, uyisazibai, chaipa chat, uyisazibai. I am a man of my weight, take a kapoka high grade, I'm trying to get.
Kondo ni wachifundo amayanga mumoto animenya kondo. Hey guys, this is Esther Chungu and you are listening to Power FM 91.3 100% ZN Afro. It's all day. Know that arrow flies by day, though the terror troubles by night.
Power FM. Voice of the People is a dynamic and interactive radio phone-in show that gives listeners a platform to voice their opinions on current affairs, social issues, and community concerns. With engaging discussions, expert insights, real-time audience participation. Voice of the People.
This is Voice of the People right here on the Power Breakfast on 91.3. You can catch us live. That is via our Facebook page. That is Power FM Zambia, and live on Dstv channel 92 on Topstar. Now, on today's Voice of the People, we join millions across Africa and the diaspora in commemorating African Freedom Day, which is celebrated on the 25th of May every year, but today is the 26th and it is a holiday. So the significant day marks the founding of the Organization of the African Unity that was in 1963, a historic milestone that paved the way for the African Union, that is the AU as we know it today. Now, African Freedom Day is not only just a celebration of our continent's rich heritage and lasting unity, but also an acknowledgement of ongoing efforts that is to advance peace, development, and continental integration. Now, to explore the importance of this day, its impact on Zambia as a whole, and along with other key national issues to address it. So we are honored to welcome in the studio with us the president for the opposition Zambia Republican, Mr. Wright Musoma. Thank you very much for joining us this early morning, and our deepest condolences.
Thank you very much, and the pleasure is all mine.
All right. Okay. Maybe you can just tell us a little bit about the Zambia Republican Party.
Thank you very much. Yeah. As you have heard, my name is Wright Musoma, President of the Zambia Republican Party, commonly known as ZRP. ZRP is one of the biggest opposition political parties in Zambia. It's a progressive opposition political party in Zambia for progressive individuals and organizations with progressive ideas.
What exactly led you to enter into the political space, the political arena? What spurred that decision?
As an individual, I was compelled by the injustice that I saw during the time of President Mwanawasa. That is what compelled me. Of course, I've been a political animal, but I was always very far away from the thin of things. Okay, I was more or less like a spectator, but I used to follow politics from way back. I think from school days when I was at school. But I was compelled to join the bandwagon of politicians when I saw the injustice and the suffering that was inflicted on Zambia's second Republican president, Dr. Frederick Chuba, who in my view and in the view of many millions of Zambians is one of the best, if not the best president Zambia has ever produced, going by what he did, the policies that he introduced and the ideals that he stood for. Yeah, but to see a great man going through that because of at the hands of the people who felt sidelined because they were not part of the movement, and because they had hidden agenda. It really pained me, and that's what just forced me to join politics.
Well noted, for sure. And now let's touch on Africa Day. We did get to celebrate it yesterday, but today also is a holiday as it spills over into today. So now what exactly does Africa Day mean to you personally, but also politically?
Well, obviously Africa Freedom Day is a very important day to me, and I think to all of us Africans, because this is the time that reminds us of what our forefathers did for us to have the freedom that we're enjoying. Yeah, our forefathers paid a very, very huge price. Okay, they were tortured. They were subjected to inhuman treatment, where they were buying through the windows. They could be insulted by young people based on their color, and they could be killed anytime. You know, some were maimed, some were killed, just like dogs. Okay, and above all our natural resources, they did not benefit the black African. They were being tapped and looted by our colonial masters. And our forefathers, they paid a huge price because they fought against colonialism so that we can have freedom, the freedom that we are taking for granted today. So it's a very, very important day for me, and indeed for the rest of Africa, because it even reminds me some of the people that I met and those that I heard about, people like our own founding father of the nation, Dr. David Kenneth Kaunda, and people like Kambaranji Mwalimu Julius Nyerere of Tanzania, the first president of Ghana, Dr. Nkrumah, okay, and others, several others, who paid a very, very huge price. So this day is a very, very important.
All right, you can be part of the conversation. The number is 0979-192-485 or 0955-997-997. In the studio, we are joined in by Zambia Republican Party President of the opposition, that is Mr. Wright Musoma. Now, that brings me to the question, is Africa truly free?
Well, freedom can mean a lot of things to different people, but generally speaking, we are free because we are not under colonial bondage anymore. We may have some kind of bondage, if you like, but we are free because as we are talking right now, I can't think of a country that is under colonial rule, except those that have chosen to be under colonial rule. But truthfully speaking, we are free. All the 54 countries, if not 55, African countries are independent countries. So we are free, for which we are grateful to our forefathers who fought for the freedom that we are enjoying.
And you did previously say that we might be free, but we might be in some kind of bondage again. Maybe you can just highlight a little bit more on the type of bondage we might be in as Africa or as Zambia.
Yes, please. Basically, what I mean by that is that there are countries whose leadership have been hijacked by the Western countries. Okay, like ours. There's no doubt that our country, our leadership here, they are totally free, because we have seen the coming in of AFRICOM okay, an American command center in Zambia, which is against the AU and the SADC, okay, and it's also against the aspirations of Zambians, because since time immemorial, since independence, since the time of Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, we have always taken a non-partisan stance, okay? So today, as we are talking, Zambia, we have got an AFRICOM command center established in Zambia, which has put us in an awkward position. This is why today, as we are talking, countries like China, which is the second largest economy in the world, Russia, one of the biggest economy in the world, name them, a lot of countries, they are looking at us with mixed feelings, okay? They are not treating us the way they have always treated us. You know, Zambia has been a darling of countries like China, Russia, and other countries, but today it's not the same because of our compromised position, which has been brought up by Hakainde Hichilema and the team. So, in my view, I strongly suspect that Zambian leadership is an hijacked one, okay? Some time back, not long ago, I think some few years ago, when Hakainde Hichilema just became president of Zambia, there was a tender which was awarded to foreigners, okay, where tender to supply poles to ZESCO. That is a quasi government, and I expected that that tender should have gone to us black indigenous Zambians, but alas, it went to foreigners. So this again doesn't show that our government is totally free. Right now, as we are talking, most of the huge contracts worth millions of dollars, they are not benefiting indigenous black Zambians, but foreigners. So when you see things like this, these are things that we talk about, we are referring to as some kind of bondage, self-inflicted. When you have got a leadership, okay, that is not patriotic, that is incompetent, usually this is the case.
Well noted. This is once again Voice of the People. Do call us up. Do send us your messages. That's on 0955 997 997 or even on 0979 192 485. And in case you've just tuned in, our guest in studio is the president of the opposition party called Zambia Republican Party, and that is Mr. Wright Musoma. And we're touching on essentially what we're celebrating today as I would say as a nation, as the world, which is Africa Freedom Day, or rather Africa Day. And the theme is justice for Africans and people of African descent through repatriations. And this has been a conversation that
the Germans who colonized Namibia, they acknowledged that status quo, and they, I think, proposed to pay something, though it is an insult, because what they were talking about is just something less than $2 billion. I think $2 billion is an insult, going by what
Why
happened.
so?
Because these countries are big today. What is in England? I lived in England for more than 5 years, okay? I know England doesn't have anything there, okay? But England is one of the powerful nations on earth because of because of what they stole from Zambia and other countries which they colonized. So will it be too much if England, okay, just gave Africa even something like $100 billion? And in this case, we're talking of the whole Europe, okay? A lot of European countries, apart from America, a lot of European countries, they colonized us. They colonized most of our African countries. So they can just come up and think of how much they can compensate us. Yeah, I think that is the way to go.
And earlier on, you did touch saying that we can term this government as a quasi-government, and you.
No, ZESCO. I was referring to ZESCO as a quasi-government, meaning it is a government institution. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay. Now, looking at Mopani mine, which has been brought back to full operation, and we're also seeing Vedanta, that is KCM in Chilelabombwe. Wouldn't you say that the government has done much to make sure that they have some industries up and running, like the mining industry, and people having jobs, so that those that weren't working, especially Vendata, which is back in full operation, that certain people weren't working and now they are back to working? Won't you say that government has maybe targeted that industry to make sure that people have an income at the end of the day?
No, I wouldn't say that. To the contrary, this government has duped its own people. Okay? Mopan and KCM was negotiated for by the previous government, meaning these entities were almost 100% in Zambian hands. And Akainde Chichima came, and what did he do? He just gave it away to foreigners for almost nothing. So the whole thing has only benefited those people, not the Zambian people. Okay? If you talk about employment, the Zambians were going to enjoy more if we Zambians, okay, on our own, we took charge of these two entities. Do you know how much those companies are fetching now? Okay, they're fetching billions in a year, billions of dollars. Okay, but did he even sell these companies for 2 billion or 3 billion? No, he just gave them away. Okay. That's not what progressive leadership do. Remember, I told you that we as Zambia Republican Party, we are a progressive opposition political party in Zambia for progressive people like you and me, with the progressive ideas. What was the progressive way of doing that? He should have left those entities, mines, to be operated, to be run by Zambians. At one point, Zambians ran all the mines that you think of in Zambia. Okay? KCM, Mopani, Nkana, they were called different names, but those mines which are in Chirabombwe, Chibuluma, Mufrila, Chingola, Kitwe, and other towns, Andola. Okay, they were run by Zambians, and they were run effectively. And do you know that? Do you know the thing? Do you know why our kwacha has been bad? Okay, has been performing bad against the convertible currencies of the world? It's because we are not an exporting country. We export less. Okay? Now, and the only export we have, the major export, foreign earner, is the mines. Now, these mines are in the hands of foreigners. So what happens? When they make millions, they export the copper in a year, worth maybe 2 billion, 3 billion, $5 billion. That money doesn't come to Zambia. It goes to the countries of their origin. So who are they, whose economy are they boosting? Is it the Zambian economy or the countries where they send the money to? It's the countries where they come from. It is just as simple as that. You don't need to be an economist to understand that. At the same time, because we don't get meaningful taxes, because has given them tax holidays on top of that. No progressive president does that. Okay? No progressive and no economist would do that. Okay? Unless they are benefiting personally. That's when they would do that. Because where does the government earn its money? Where does any government of the world make money? We make money through tax, okay? And then you give them on top of that tax holidays. As Zambia Republican Party, together with the Tonsa Alliance, when we form government, we are going to recall these mines. and put them in the hands of Zambians, so that we create genuine employment, one. Also, we collect, we make, we earn a lot of forex, because that time the US dollars will be too much. There will be less demand for US dollars, unlike what is happening there, because we have too much. Because you can imagine, if you will be selling, for argument's sake, if KCM will be making per year $1 billion, that $1 billion will come to Zambia. And there are very few Zambians who can finish $1 billion. Okay? So it will be here. And what will happen to the Zambian culture? It will be strong. It will keep on appreciating, and it will be very strong. Simple as that. At the same time, job creation will ensue. Okay? We are going to create a lot of jobs for our own people. Not this job creation is talking about. Hakainde has not created any employment for anyone, for argument's sake. When he says that he has created employment in Ministry of Education and Ministry of Health, that's not true. Okay, I always tell people that even in Muriokela, if he were president today, he was going to employ soldiers, police officers, prisoners, teachers, and health workers. Because at the in fact, there's no president who has never done that. Why would Muriokela do that? I will give you the reasons. Because teachers, they die. All these civil servants, they die, they retire, some they are fired. So you need to fill the gap. And with the need for efficiency as the economy is growing and the population, again, the rate of employment will be also increasing. It is just as simple as that. So there is no employment Hakainde has created. That's not what we call creating employment. He's just following the status quo. So he shouldn't deceive Zambian people. He should have created employment had he let KCM and Mopani be run by Zambians. He could have created some employment. And also, if he can stop giving huge contracts to foreigners, okay, and start giving those huge contracts worth millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, and give them to indigenous black Zambians, he would have created employment. Furthermore, he should have created a lot of employment if he paid all the contractors, Zambian contractors, because when you pay those people, it doesn't matter whether they are PF, they are UPN or whatever. As a progressive leader, you are supposed to pay their local Zambians, because what it means is this. If we are owing you money, we are impoverishing you. You get my point? But if we pay you on time, for that matter, if you had employed 5 people and we pay you, you are going to, if you use your money prudently, you are going to expand your business and employ 15 or 20 or even 30 or 100. Those who the government is owing a lot of money are going to, and now you add, imagine if Zambia is owing 500 or 1 million local people, you pay them, you create, for argument's sake, 500,000 people or even 200,000 people. Each one of them create employment for 5 people. 5 people. 5 people times 200,000. That is the employment that you would create. Okay? And besides that, those people will not be depending on you. That's what we call progressive thinking.
This is Voice of the People. You can call us up, send us your messages. That is on 0955 997 997 or even on 0979 192 485. In studio with us, we do have with us the opposition parties. That is Zambia Republican Party, and that is Mr. Wright Musoma, who is the president of the party. And so now, I'll say, going back to what we're discussing within Zambia, what would you say is your stance on Zambia's current political landscape and the prospects of democratic governance in Zambia so far?
Unfortunately, Zambia has become a dictatorship under Hakainde Hichilema.
Why do you say so?
And I hope you are just asking so that you let people know, okay? The rule of law has eluded us. The institutions of government have been more or less turned into wings of the ruling UPND party. They are not operating professionally. Okay? They are no longer professional, but they are biased. Look at the kind of arrests that happen in Zambia. A person will ridicule the Tonga people, for instance. He will be arrested and sent to jail, like in the case of Mnea and others who have gone to jail. Okay? But here is a lady. She insults the Bemba tribe. She's left scotch-free. And you know the young lady I'm talking about. Okay? Here is a person, just says some clause. Maybe somebody just says, but President, muleteka matako panshi. I'm giving an example. I'm not telling the president that. But in Bemba, which by interpretation means relax. Okay? I'm Bemba, I'm from Luapula province. When somebody says, teko mutima, nangu teka matako panshi, they are saying, you relax. Okay? They are arrested. Okay? Somebody, a legion of UPND cadres, they come to deck in full view of the police personnel and start singing a song. We have seen the private parts. I don't want even to say that. Those are something that you don't want to say. We have seen the private part of the 60th Republican president. Who is he? The opponent of the current president. No one gets arrested. This has been going on. Look at the people who are going to prison. Opposition political party, MPs, those with dissenting views. Okay? Those who are on the side of the ruling party, even when they have got clear-cut cases, they are not arrested. There is a young man in Northwestern Province whose videos are all over, where he was saying that bring Edgar Lungu, we are going to circumcise him. No arrest. He's walking freely. Kanema. Okay? He was even again reported to have been harassing a Zambian of Indian origin. No arrest has been done. Okay? Surely this is not the Zambia we wanted. Okay? And we just have to change government come 2026. Anyone who loves Zambia, young or old, men and women, we have to make a decision in August 2026 and make sure that we relieve Hakaindovu his duties. He has messed up, not only in terms of governance, but even economically. He has nothing to show for. He has messed up big time. Okay? I mean, how will I even explain to my children that we had somebody who was called a drunkard, illiterate, and he constructed roads across the country, hospitals across the country, state-of-the-art hospitals, hydropower stations and solar power stations across the country. All airports, he renovated and upgraded airports, some which even went to win the airport of the best airport in Africa. Okay? And the economy was doing very well. And then Zambia brings the best economist, somebody who says he's the best economist, the most educated among the Zambian. And he fails to even do something meaningful. Today, a lot of young ones in the middle of their lives, they are committing suicide in numbers. It's not a secret. Okay? Why are they killing each other? In numbers such as never seen before. Because the economy is very bad. He said that when he assumes leadership of this country, you people, you'll be buying a bag of minimum 50 kwacha. Today you are buying 400 and above. He said you bring fuel which was costing 15 kwacha to 12 kwacha. We are buying fuel at 32 kwacha, 34 kwacha. He said you bring the price of fertilizer to 250 kwacha, which we are buying at 750, but today we are buying more than 1.5.
Okay. To cut you off short, sorry, just talking about maize production, Zambia since 1987, which we did see that there is going to be a rise of at least 3 million metric tons of maize, and we will see a reduction of milling prices, which is what they are trying to sort out, because we did have the drought, and now
which regime has never experienced a drought? The Kaunda administration, the Chiruba administration, the Mwanawasa administration, the Rupia Banda administration, the Sata administration, the Edgar Lungu administration. Look, that is all talk. Okay?
What do you think they would have done? We had a drought.
What they could have done, they shouldn't have sold the maize which they had found. They shouldn't have been selling power to neighboring countries and faking that and lying to you that it's due to low water levels in the in the Kariba Dam. They shouldn't be lying to you. They lied their way into State House. But surely they should have some respect for you. Okay? Not to continue lying. You can win governance, you can win power, but you cannot again run government using lies. Okay? He became president through lies, but he cannot again continue running this country through lies. It's not right. He's insulting you. He's insulting me. And we shouldn't allow him to insult us. Okay? So why should you continue listening to somebody who has proved that he is not a honest person? Okay? How many promises has he made? Okay? Which has fulfilled? Somebody surely who can even fail to meet his own targets. His own targets. These things that I was trying to highlight to you, I didn't set those targets for him. He set for himself. Okay? And good leadership, progressive leadership, don't do that. When they make mistakes, they should own up and say sorry, because to error, it's human. Okay? But to repeat a mistake, certainly it's not healthy. Okay? We are dealing with people's lives. I told you, a lot of lives are committing suicide on daily basis. There are a lot of accidents happening on our roads on daily basis. Why do you think there is increase of accidents on the road? Because people are moving with a lot of problems. Okay? That is one of the major reasons. Okay? Because if people from killing themselves, we are again seeing a lot of road mishaps and carnages. It shows you that people are moving with a lot of problems. How are you enjoying your life yourself? How much are you paying from home to here? How much are you buying a 2 kg of sugar, which you are buying 20 kwacha? Today it's 70 something kwacha. Okay? How many times has your salary increment, have you received your salary increment? Okay? Everyone is crying. This man has failed. Okay? They have failed. Don't listen to them. Bumper harvest has always occurred, and just as much as the droughts. But how you manage matters. What did he say? He was even giving an example of Dubai. He was saying Dubai has nothing, there is no rain that falls there. But people, when I come, I am going to fix all these things. He was saying that. In case you didn't hear that, just ask somebody to send you a video. People have got videos of all the promises that this president made, which he hasn't fulfilled. Surely we'll be naive to give him time. Okay?
So now, wouldn't you say, especially looking at what I would say the international media is saying that Zambia at the moment is actually on its path to economic recovery, seeing as he did enter into office around the time where Zambia became the first.
Which international media, for goodness sake?
So we have got such
Which international media? They let them not lie to you. The IMF, they have said the economic outlook is blink.
So,
okay?
Yes, I understand.
So, and look, how do you expect this economy to move with all these problems that Zambia is facing?
Yes, I understand.
Ranging from corruption,
corruption such as you have never seen before. Where now, Shamma hospitals, people are dying. I'm telling you, I was coming here just in order not to disappoint you. My sister, okay, she's in the mortuary as I'm talking now, right now. Why did she die? Because she was, you know, she was fairly, each time she took food, she would throw out. So they were suspected cancer. She came, we brought her to you, she lives in Mufrida, she used to live in Mufrida. We brought her to the biggest hospital for her to have a CT scan. Do you know how long it took? More than a month. Now if it was cancer, what was happening to cancer? Was cancer waiting? Thank you. Please save me the embarrassment. Okay, and feel for me. Again, we had to make sure, when we made sure, I used to be at the UTH, near on dead basis, pleading so that my sister can have a CT scan. Okay? Again, after the CT scan came out, there was no one to interpret the results. Okay? We said, okay, fine. We went to the private. They charged us, I think, 850 kwacha. We said, what choice do we have? Give us the CD. They said, no, the CD, we don't have. We have a backlog of what? We said, what? My sisters died, okay, because of the mess that this government has created. You need to go to visit these hospitals. They are stinking, my sister. Okay. You see, you don't want to spend even 30 minutes there. They are smelling. They are filthy. Look at the prisons. Look at the cells where people are being locked up. Okay? Nende mushiri. In case you don't know India, I don't know its lies. Yeah. You know, bed bugs. Surely in this age and era. Because how long can it take Haka India to just demolish all the cells in Zambia? So, and build new ones. It can't even cost more. So that our people, because even those accused ones, okay, they are Zambians at the end of the day. And he will be even pestering them for their votes. Okay? This is what is happening in Zambia. Nothing has moved. Things have been, instead of moving forward, things have been going forward. Things are just moving forward in his mouth and in the mouth of UPND. Okay? Tell me, what have they done? Huh? What have they done?
So they have actually also come in with debt restructuring, assisting with that as well, seeing as how we did default. And then also what made it worse was the fact that we had COVID-19.
Debt restructuring an achievement? Debt restructuring, please, for goodness sake, my sister, I'm being polite here. It's not an achievement that Yakainde should celebrate. Okay. Do you know what Musoma would do? I would never even go to IMF.
Where would you go?
To negotiate. Thank you very much. Those are the questions that I like. Okay. I'll just start getting proper tax from the mines. Do you know if Akainde today can begin to get the tax, the proper tax, we can pay our debt without much ado. And I can also ensure that KCM and the Mopan remains in the hands of Zambians. Okay? Because that is the debt. You are talking of 14 billion. What is 14 billion? This is not owed by me or by an individual. It's owed by the country. A very rich country for that matter. My predecessor used to say that this is a country of abundance. Why should people suffer in the country of abundance? Okay? Even Akainde, I heard him say that when he was in opposition. But what has changed? People are suffering. They are being tortured. They are being brutalized. The rule of law has eroded this country. There is now selective arrest. The kind of judgments and ruling that are coming from our courts, they will make you shudder and cry. Okay?
So then what would you say that opposition parties like yourself are doing to ensure that you provide checks and balances for the current government?
Look at what I'm doing. Okay? And we are governizing a lot of political parties and eminent people and everyone to make sure they join us in Tonse. In Tonse, we have all the political parties. We have come together as political parties and NGOs so that come 2026, we kick out this incompetent government, okay, and bring hope to the Zambian people, okay. All these things that you are suffering from, we are going to end them without much ado. We have got the experience, we have got the expertise, as you can even hear by the way I'm talking. I'm sure it should show you something that we have got solutions. We are not just talking, okay. And you have got mixed drill. So you should actually help me to send the message that even those few political parties that have not yet joined the Tonse, they should do that. And I want to take advantage even of this place and this program and appeal to our technocrats such as the doctors, the engineers, the architects, the lawyers, and others. Please, please, don't leave this battle to Musoma alone. Join us. Let us join hands and make sure that come 2026, we kick out this incompetent government.
We do have a
for the
phone
sake
call.
of Mother Zambia.
Hello, good morning. You're through to Voice of the People.
Madam.
Fine, thank you. How are you? Sir, would you please tell us your name and where you're calling from?
Fortune, Salvimbi Chenga Lusaka.
Okay, Mr. Fortune, you can go ahead. What's your comment?
Mr. Wright Musoma.
Hello?
Hello, can you hear us?
Yes, I'm getting you.
Yes, we do have Mr. Wright Musoma, who is the Zambia Republican Party president.
Yo, tulechula, but kumubiri tulifya bwino.
Twatotera.
Emkwa.
Uwafya tukwete mu Zambia lero. Bantu nga imwe abashire mona abashikwete ekimonwa. Mwe bantu tamule mole fresh tikanda kaimu UPND. Number 1, mumonofa abantu bale umwa ukuboma abantu during PF, the one you are supporting now. Gataba myuma poimwe alabale uma abantu ba PF. Now it seems you are enjoying how people were beaten in that regime.
Eba ipena kungo. Ba PF eba ipena kungo.
And then you were enjoying the blood which was oozing during that time. So I'm very much worried about you and what you are supporting. Because you are busy there offloading hatred and bitterness instead of bringing up. But you are failing to come up with something tangible. If you are just saying, no, ngati abantu abali 2.8 million bali mu votera then when that you went there by Shani. How? What kind of thinking is that? Ama politics yabu tu amusona tientu yaleke. Let us talk about issue based politics. Ubabu tu tumule stuff front you more. Batotera.
Sorry, what's your name before you go? Okay, maybe you can just
actually I'm at pain that a person like him can somebody who is hearing me can play ignorant that we are not offering solutions. We have told him that us we would have kept KCM and Mopani in the Zambian hands, and we could have compelled all mines to be correcting the right tax. There's no way you can exempt foreign entities which are owned, I mean foreigners who are owning your mines from paying tax. Meanwhile, you are taxing your own people to death. That is not that is not progressive leadership. 2, you are giving contracts, huge contracts worth millions of dollars. You are giving them to foreigners at the expense of your own people. That is not progressive leadership. And when we form government as Tonse Alliance, we will make sure that the black indigenous Zambians are the ones who be getting those contracts. In addition to that, we will make sure that if recruiting you, okay, I know you are singing praises because you are UPND cadre whose thinking is very cockeyed. We are going to help you, okay, because we ensure that the rule of law, the rule of law will apply equally, not selectively, okay. Coming to the issue of cadres, we haven't seen any change because we have got videos. If you want to prove me right, we have got videos where cadres would storm. I was almost killed during that time I was talking about, where cadres came to deck in full view of the police and were insulting that they have seen the private parts of the 6th Republican president. What are you talking about? We have seen cadres, even last week, they stormed the courts of law. We have seen cadres, UPND cadres, storming the High Court grounds and cause mayhem. What are you talking about? These same UPND cadres we are talking about, they are the ones who killed Kungo. They killed, during the 2021 election, they killed 3 PF. So you cannot apportion to that. You can only fool those who were not here or who choose to be fooled.
Sorry to cut you,
that
sir.
Cannot say, sir.
We do have another call on the line. Hello, good morning. You're through to Voice of the People.
Wauka.
Bueno Wanji, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Mama Kantela Pagadeni.
Okay, go ahead. What's your comment or question?
Wauka Wanji muri mu studio.
Tauka bwino ndine Musoma, Wright Musoma, President of Zambia Republican Party, which is also a member of council.
Yeah, wa President Musoma. Wauka tabe bwino.
Yo tauka under the circumstance.
Mavuto njala bomba inabwela na boza yatetera mavuto load shedding yamene sisila mvula ya loka ngati kulisina malaiti benzo kamba kuti wana masolution Dubai hakuna pula malaiti yaliko but apamanje mavuto yanetipitamo tupamela tuane benzo pita nato mukosi tuja tuama tuku hata tuli mma 5 kwa tukavwira nzima ikanyi wa kukosa ba president mukamba cha bebu ino festivela ushe bomba mu 2026 kunapo osa mvelera ma CDF kolaza wa bakapatwa ma CDF wa UPND wakwera tio fife bwino bwana kuna ku garden mone mavuto anetipitamo isi bantu wa mukomboni
konze kuli mavuto
1.4 billion 1.4 konse bino mu minzi mavuto ni fulu
na mumayadi mwamene umu
Monse kulipa kali mu government uyu ni civil servant bonse tiputikira pamozi 1.4 billion kumankwala ba USAID kushaka cut off kamba kawala why boma enzo kamba kuti bo fighting a corruption ba boma yaba kawala $80,000 yo wana sendika by mistake magoti darama pa airport pa presidential bonse hivyo wenzo kamba tu hapo fighting a corrupt wasibera drama zili zatu ife mazambia ntikutika awe mukamba bwino fetiri kumbuyo kwanu kam 2026 iboma sifuna wenzo kamba timu PF muri ukawala but wenzo ndiye muri ukawala no ukamba tabe chirungango yati boti sausa kuti nzunza mazambiani unga kutosa 115 kwata waenda pali 400 kwata kutosa kwa 20 kwata TI unga wambobwerera uyo wazetendesi uyo mituseti na mali ati unga wambobwerera kuli brampa harvest boma ya boza ya promise wa boza ero nkali ya makada ya rimo makada yendani Europa Heroes roha pafupi tabe makada alifuru tunga pita na TPF kutoweto kukamwana kujaba kumenya iboma ina boza pitirizani kukamba petiri kumbuyo kwanu magota stadi marezi zinayo
before we wrap up, maybe you just want to touch on wrapping up everything that we have discussed on.
Yes, thank you very much. My sister from Garden, thank you so very much. You have helped me. You have made my work easy, for real. Even things that I had forgotten about, such as sending money wrongly to wrong accounts. Which government does that show efficiency or professionalism? In I saw to membia instead of sending to you, I send it to someone else. Can you say that is professionalism or efficiency? That is incompetence. 2, we have seen a company, okay? A new company in Kenya gets millions of dollars from the Zambian government. I think it's the Ministry of Defense. And when you look at that company, it was recently registered. Okay, what it was, we never heard of a tender advertised. Nothing. This government doesn't advertise tenders. Tenders for fertilizer, you just hear that they have picked, and UPND cadres are the ones who are getting. When they just came into power, they gave the tender to supply fertilizer to a company belonging to Mr. Jangula, who is a husband to the former Minister of Information. Okay, what do you call that? Corruption. Right now, the people, even the Americans, since when have you ever heard the American announcing, telling you that the corruption that is happening just in one sector? Okay, one sector. We have never seen anything like that. But for the America to be pushed to say that, then you should know they have cut head. Who is going to pay the blunt? It's the Zambian, million poor Zambian people who are on ARVs, who are on TB treatment, who are on different treatments, undergoing treatments. On top of what is going on, they are going to pay the blunt. But I want to give the Zambian people hope. Please, please, wherever you are, make sure that you get an NRC, get a voter's card, okay, and keep it sound and clean. We know, the other thing that I want to tell you is that very soon, artificial reduction in prices, even the kwacha, appreciate, because now we are going towards the elections, but don't be fooled. This government has failed. Can you imagine the whole president went and announced in Southern Province that they are going to, is going to give them a university. Nothing wrong with that. Southern needs a university, and I support that. But what is wrong with that? Luapula Province, okay, has got a project of the university, Frederick Chiruba University, which has installed, and he has forgotten about that. Is that progressive leadership? Certainly not. That's poor leadership. Because if he gives a university in a few months before the elections to Southern Province, and he ignores that, he ignores Luapula, how are the people from Luapula going to look at him? Are they going to clap or salute him for that? Certainly not. And we would urge him to actually rethink, make sure that before he gives Southern Province the university, let him finish the Luapula, the Frederick Chiruba University for the people of Luapula, because they are also Zambians. Okay, then he can do the other one in Southern Province. So please, Zambians, and make sure that you compel even those political parties that haven't yet joined the Grand Tonsa Alliance. Tell them they shouldn't be selfish. No one can win against this brutal regime alone. We need to come together. We put our selfishness aside and make sure that we all join the Grand Tonsa Alliance, and come 2026 we are going to kick out this incompetent government and give you a progressive, patriotic and civilized government. This Tonsa I'm talking about, it did not come from us. Remember, you are the ones who told us to come together. It came from the Catholic Church, it came from the UCZ Church, the Anglican Church, the Pentecostal Church, the Apostolic Church, our Royal Highnesses, and all you millions of Zambians. You are the ones who formed Tonse and asked us that we should all be in Tonse. So no one should fight Tonse, and no other organization should be entertained or political party. Anyone who doesn't want to join Tonse, just know that those are people who are being sponsored by the regime that you want to kick out.
Well noted. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, sir.
The pleasure is all mine, and God bless Zambia.